Hi, guys, and welcome to the Horror Room. So, this week, oh, I've decided to go back to one of my old formats from my older channel. On there, I would used to do remakes versus originals, and I would talk about both movies and how different they were. This movie that I chose, I can't really do that because they're literally the same movie, whether you watch the original German version or you watch the 2006, 2007 remake. I think it was 2007. Funny Games. Oh boy. This is. Ugh. Now, the only thing, if you want to watch the remake, it has Tim Roth in it, it has other people, but it is literally the same movie. And I just got done watching the German one this morning. And I was like, well, maybe I'll go and watch the remake. But literally, as each scene was happening, I was like, not only are the events the same, the dialogue is pretty much the same. Um, Now, before I get into the review, would I recommend this movie? That depends. Some people online have said that this is a look at how, you know, we glorify violence in movies, and, like, we root for the bad guys. But I don't know where they got that idea because honestly, this is one of those movies that it's like, when I watched it originally, I hated it. Flat out hated it. Me and my friends thought it was dumb. We actually made our own little parody of it, right down to the music from the beginning. Which, if I can remember, I'm going to put a link to our version and maybe the original, but probably just our version because, I mean, if you hear it, you're like, yep, that sounds like the one from the movie. But, anyways, so I guess I would say if you're not a hardcore, you don't care, just watch the remake. It's the same plot. You don't have to read subtitles. There you go. Um, it's a fine movie, but is it entertaining? Um, kind of, but not really. I know, but well, let's get into the plot and maybe you'll understand why. Now, the movie opens with the family, the mother, the son, and the father driving, and the mother's like changing CDs out and trying to get the dad to guess who it is. I think in the remake it's like real music, but in the original, the one I watched, it's like classical music. So she's like, guess the composer, guess the piece that it is, and it's like, oh wow, they know their classical music. And then she's like, oh, I'm gonna put in a surprise one, and let's see if you can guess this. And then she puts in the CD, and it's they're not actually listening to the song, but it is kind of funny to imagine that they switch from classical music to this grindcore screaming trash that's like I could recreate it here, but I'm honestly like, no, no, no. Just click on the link. It's probably going to be in the description. And when you hear it, you'll be like, oh, that's awful. That's, yeah. And we made fun of it, but it's like, that's exactly what the song sounded like. So, yeah. So then they get home. They're on vacation, back from vacation. I think they're back. It's like they get their little rich house. The dad and the son are out messing with the boat. The dad's trying to get the boat ready. And I am, of course, talking about the original, but like I said, the remake is pretty much identical shot for shot, so you're not missing anything if you choose to just watch the remake. Maybe some stuff is slightly different, but from what I remember, it's not at all. But anyways, we get to the mother. She's in the kitchen getting stuff ready for they're having guests over apparently, and she says, "Hey, I'll call you later and we'll figure it out." And then we're introduced to one of the first rich boys. I don't know. It's these boys in like shorts and polos and like gloves. Like they look like golf caddies, basically. And I mean, there are golf bags and stuff that the dad brings in from the trip. Um, so this whole thing starts off. The guy comes up and he says, "Oh, your neighbor sent me over here because earlier she had spotted her neighbor outside and waved, and the boys were over there, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know who those were. Maybe they were her nephews or something." Um, so one of them comes over. We'll just call him Tom because they do call each other Tom and Jerry at one point. They also call each other Beavis and Butthead. I think it's supposed to be like a haha, like look at us. Um, Maybe it's a nod to the violence in these movies. I don't know, but yes, we'll call him Tom. Tom's like, hey, the neighbor told me to come over and get some eggs. I need about four of them. So the wife's like, all right, and she just hands him the eggs to hold in his hands. And it's like, I guess, like, why would you not just put them in a bag or a container right off the bat? It's like, yeah, you live next door, but it's kind of silly. Like, your neighbors, you can get your Tupperware back or whatever. And of course, he drops them. Now, whether it's on purpose or not, we don't know. I'd like to think that it is on purpose because it's funny to just imagine him going around the corner and just dropping them. Probably it is because, it's part of their games. They're funny games. Oh, we're messing with your eggs. So he says, oh, look at my bad. I'm sorry. And then she cleans it up and he's like, well, I still need those eggs. And she's like, okay, well, here you go. Sorry, please leave. And he's very awkward. Um, and then, like, the other guy, the taller guy, Jerry, comes in and the dog's barking at him. They have a dog, by the way. And she's like, oh, I can put him out so you guys can get out of here. And he's like, oh, no, that won't be necessary. And then the taller guy's like, hey, are those your husband's golf clubs? Like, let me check them out. And he's like, do you mind if I go hit one of these outside? And she's like, oh, I guess. So he takes the golf club outside while the other guy's standing there. And apparently, the dog jumped up and knocked these eggs out of his hands as well. So the guy's like, you guys are going to go to the store on Monday anyway, so I really need those other eggs. Like, just take the whole damn carton. Just give him the fucking carton. And she's like, oh, no, you need to leave. And the other guy comes back, and he's like, what's going on? And she's like, oh, she's being rude. She won't give me the eggs. He's like, we really need these eggs. Like, they're baking a fucking birthday cake or something. And then the wife's like trying to shove them out the door, and they're like, oh, we're gonna tell the neighbors this is extremely rude. You're being very uncordial. And then the husband comes in, and like the husband character to me is the worst in the whole film because he's just so complacent about everything, and he's so just whiny. Like, I don't know. I guess you're like, oh, these people are being harassed and their home's being invaded and they're being tortured. Like, that's so unfair. Like, but still, like, he barely puts up any fight. But the guy's like, here, take your egg. Or, well, actually, he's like, has the eggs. They're trying to explain. Like, let us explain to you why your wife is crazy and, we're just trying to get these damn eggs. And then they say something about, like, oh, we could crush your balls. And, like, out of nowhere. And then the husband slaps them, and he's like, you need to leave. And he's like, oh, that wasn't very nice. And they hit the husband in the leg with the golf club. And, I think they only hit him, like, once, and he's acting like they ran his leg over with a golf cart. A lot of golf references in this. And the wife and the son are like, oh, what have you done? Oh, no. So now the cat's out of the bag. Pun intended for later, if you catch me. So they're like, yeah, we were just, trying to get these damn eggs, and you guys were being rude, so now we're going to play some games. Like, I guess, like, Monopoly, checkers, Uno. No, funny games. And they're not funny. They're not funny at all. So they get everyone in the living room, and they're just talking, and the Jerry, the tall one, he keeps calling Tom fat, or fatty. It's like being so rude to his friend right there. And he's like, oh, well, someone like her would never like someone like you. And he's like, she's probably not got an ounce of fat on her. And he's like, well, let's find out. So they say, we're going to put Kitty in the bag. And they get a pillowcase and put it over the kid's face. And the kid's like squirming around, freaking out. Ah! And the guy's like, hey, knock it off. It's kind of funny. I mean, it's not funny to hit a kid, but in the context of this scene, that part did make me chuckle a little. He's like, can you breathe? That's what I thought. I'll knock it off. Um, Now, I do know in the remake, they add a line that's not in the original one. Um, so in the original, he's like, well, now that the child is safe from this, uh, daddy can tell mommy to undress so we can see if she's got any ounce of fat on her. I don't think they really care about that in the remake. I can't remember. But the phrase, excuse me, um, the phrase they use in the remake is so stupid, but it's one that I'll never forget as long as I live. It says, now that Kitty's in the bag, let's see if mommy's titties sag. And it's so damn dumb, but it's so funny. It's not in the original, which I was kind of disappointed, but you know, they have a little class. Um, so yeah, they do it. You know, they're like, okay, you can put your clothes back on. It's just weird, simple, awkward, like whatever. During all this hubbub, the kid like gets away, and runs to the neighbor's house. So he's like, hey, you stay here with the mom, and blah blah blah. I'll go get the kid. So he goes next door. The kid finds a gun. And the kid's like pointing at him, and he's like, "Oh, you got to do this." And the kid's like doing it, and he's like, "No, go ahead." And the kid pulls the trigger. There's no bullets in there, of course. So guy comes back with the kid with the shotgun, and he says, "Hey, I'm gonna go make myself a sandwich. Uh, Pick which one of them dies out first." Oh, before that, when they're all in the living room, he says, "Hey, let's have a friendly wager." He says, "I'm betting that by 9 a.m. tomorrow, you'll all be kaput." Literally, that's what he says in the original. He says, "And you guys wager that you won't be." And they're like, we're not doing that. He's like, "Well, okay." And then he turns to the camera and he says, "Well, we got to make it interesting for the audience. They got to have a story." And it's like, the fourth wall breaking in this movie. If that's not bad enough, it gets way worse later. And I do remember in the remake, the characters, the guys that are playing the rich a hole kidnapper guys, they're very like so smug, and you just want to punch your TV anytime he turns and looks directly at you. Like, don't look at me, keep me out of this. Um, so yeah, they had this bet like you guys are gonna die by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Blah blah blah. They bring the kid back, and he's like, "Hey, pick which one uh, is gets killed, and I'm gonna go make a sandwich." And he ends up shooting the kid, which is like, okay, cool. You want the kid to die because he's gonna run away again. Um, and he's like, "Oh, well, you messed it up. You were supposed to go, like you pointed to this person. You're supposed to go to the one after, or something like that." Um, and he's like, "Oh, you messed it all up. We're just gonna go now." So they just see you. And the wife is like tied up, and the husband's sitting there useless as shit. He's got, oh, my leg, oh, I don't have two of them. Um, so we're stuck on the scene of the kid's dead body near this TV that's blaring NASCAR. And this is in the German and the American. I was very surprised. I was like, because that was one of the things I remembered from the remake. I was like, it can't be NASCAR for the original. It was NASCAR. And it just plays for like 10 minutes. I swear to you, the last half hour of this movie just drags from the point the kid dies on. So you get 10 minutes of this lady sitting there, trying to get her wristband things off, and she finally turns the TV off. Then she's like telling her husband, "Oh, we got to get out of here. Like, I'm going to go get the car keys or something." And the dad's just sitting there crying, which I get it. His son just got killed. But oh my God, it just goes on for a while. And then he's like, "Hey, let's try the phone," because the guy knocked the phone into the sink earlier when he was trying to get the eggs. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so clumsy, blah, blah, blah." And the wife's like, "Yeah, we'll just dry it out." And, it's only been a couple hours. And she's like, "Yep, the phone should be dry." And nope, not working. Get the hair dryer. And the dad's like, "Oh, hide in the basement." And then he changes his mind. He's like, "Well, I'll sit in the kitchen and dry the phone out. Um, and you get dressed and go down to the neighbor's house." I think they are supposed to live on like an island or something like that. Well, not really an island, but there's a large lake around that connects some of the properties, and the people that were boating earlier like say, "Hey, you should come over later." And the guy's like, "Oh, you're the house with the ivies on it. I'll remember that." Yeah, because they go there later. So yeah, the wife runs out in like a sweater vest and blue jeans and tennis shoes with no socks. Um, she's hiding because she sees a car and she doesn't know if it's them. And of course, as soon as it passes, it's an ambulance. She's like, "Hey," and no. And then she sees another pair of headlights, and then it just cuts back to the house, and they bring the wife back. So you're like, "Hey, great, cool, whatever." Um, so then they sit the wife down, and they're like, "Hey, we're nice guys. We're gonna let you choose who dies first and how they die, whether by gun, by knife." And the guy's sitting there trying to explain it to him or to her, and the wife grabs the shotgun and shoots Tom, Fatty, kills him, and you're like, "Oh my gosh!" And the guy Jerry's freaking out. He goes, "Where's the remote? Where's the remote?" And you're like, "Shouldn't you be more worried about that gun? Because she could shoot you at any second." I think like he punched her or something to grab it away from her. But then he's like, "Where's the remote?" And he finally finds the remote for the TV and hits rewind. And the entire scene rewinds to right before she grabs the gun. And then he takes it away right before she grabs it. Now, in the original, it just plays out like that. And you're like, "Oh, that was kind of creative, interesting." But in the remake, again, they break the fourth wall so the character can turn and look at the camera. And he goes, "You didn't think I would let that happen, did you?" And it's like, oh, you want to rewind the scene and let the mom shoot yourself because it's so painful. Um, so yeah, then they kill the dad and they take the mom out on the boat and they're like, "Hey, just come sit between us for no reason." She's like trying to escape. There's like a knife that was left in the boat, and they're like, "Oh, that's so cute." She's trying to escape still. Like, "Hey, come sit. We're talking about multiverses didn't matter in the original." I can't remember what they're talking about in the remake, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't that. Um, and yeah, he just reaches over and like shoves her into the water. She's tied up, so it's like, yeah, she's drowning. But then they reach the next house, and he's like, "Oh, your neighbor sent me over here to get some eggs." And he looks at the camera like, "Get ready for more games." Oh gosh, like I said, the original, when I watched it this morning, it wasn't as bad. That the remake, I do remember, is specifically kind of extra annoying with the fourth wall breaking. The rewind scene is extra egregious in the remake. In the original, I mean, it's there. It's kind of weird, but they don't like wink at the camera like they do in the remake. Um, I don't know. It's just when you think of a good movie, whether it's an original or a remake, you want to have a plot, you want to have likable characters, and you want to have an outcome that you don't see coming. This has none of that. You know the family's going to die. You don't like any of the characters, even the villains. And people in horror movies, we generally like the villains. That's why we like horror. These guys aren't likable at all. They're smug, they're stupid, they're boring, they're worried about eggs. Um, and just like there's nothing really driving the story along other than, someone runs away, someone's killed, someone's playing a game where they put a kid in a pillowcase. Like, maybe I'm uneducated. Maybe I just don't get the brilliance of funny games. Maybe you guys can watch it and tell me if you didn't feel like you wasted an hour and 45 minutes of your life. Go for it. But that was the point of this review, to save you from this, and also to do a remake versus original. I did a lot of these on my older channel. I don't feel like redoing them, but there are some that I didn't get to that I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll get around to them. And this was one of the ones that I was like, this probably would be the easiest one because I've already seen the remake and I really just got to watch the original. And after watching it, I was like, oh, this is piece of cake. There's not even that much of a difference. So there you have it. Funny games. Haha, not so funny. There's worse remakes out there for sure. But this one, I would just stick with the original if you have. Well, okay, I said to watch the remake because it's in English. Um, if you can stand all the cheesiness, watch it for that reason. But if you want to see the original way it was intended, the German one is fine. It's less in your face and campy, but you still got the bad music. Either version. I'm gonna try to remember to put that link in my description. So if you want to hear the one that me and my friends made forever ago, check that out. If you want to listen to the actual song, I'm sure you can just type in "Funny Games" credit song, and that's the one. It's the only like non-classical song in the whole movie. So yeah, there you have it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Sunday.